Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Meg, and if you're new here, welcome. So today I am giving two cabinets a makeover. These are two china cabinets. They are matching, and I found them on Facebook Marketplace and thought they would be amazing for dressers because my husband and I really need matching dressers. My dresser is pretty cool. I love it. It's really pretty, but I don't like my husband's. His dresser is just not working out very well. So I saw these and thought, dressers, they would look amazing. So I've got a whole plan for them, and let's get started. First off, I take off the hardware and these brass plates because I am not keeping them. Sometimes these brass plates can be really difficult to take off. And these cabinets are really in good condition. They have a light, which I thought was really cool. And they've got glass shelves as well for inside. This is what they look like afar. And they have glass panels, which I took off when we moved them to my house. And then they have these wooden crossbars that are in the window, or in the panels as well. And I took those out as well, and I've actually used those separately and painted them to put on the wall. I taped up all of the top parts where the magnets are and down below as well, and then vacuumed all the inside because it was a bit dirty and dusty. But overall, these pieces were really clean and in really good condition, so I was really excited for them to become our dressers. Where the brass plates were, there were tiny little nails at the top, so I got some wood filler and just filled in those little holes and any little dents that were created by me when I used my screwdriver to take them off. So I filled those in and then let them set and dry. And there wasn't anywhere else on these cabinets that really needed filling in. Now, I didn't do both cabinets at the same time because I didn't have a lot of space in my workshop, so what I did is just did one first and then the other. I took my sanding block and wrapped some 220 sanding paper around the block, and then scuff sanded the entire piece inside and out so that the primer and paint had some good adhesion, and it was also sanding off any bumps or things that didn't need to be there. So once it was completely scuff sanded, I used my furniture prep cleaner and sprayed the entire piece and took out these crossbars that I told you about. And then there were all of these little clips that go, or screws that go into the doors to put the glass, but I did need those still because I am actually going to be putting burlap panels over the glass, and so I needed to keep these clips aside. Then it was time to prime once this piece was all cleaned and ready to go. I used Kiltz Restoration Primer, which is the primer I use all of the time. And this sprayer, which I get asked about all the time as well, is a Wagner Flexio 5000, and it's in my description. I did about 2 to 3 coats of this primer. And because these cabinets were really tall and quite a lot of space in the top and bottom, it did take up 2 containers of primer. What I did with each priming coat, I sanded in between coats with 220 grit sanding paper, and then I would do my next coat of primer. Then it was time to paint. Now the paint that I used was called Cloudy Day. It's an off-white. And it's by Cottage Paint, and it will be in my description as well. And I did about 2 coats of the paint. And I also sanded in between coats with 1000 grit sanding block. So here is where I had wrapped, I kept the glass panels for the doors. I got this burlap at Fabricland, Ontario, Canada, But I'm sure you can find it in any store or fabric store in your country or area. And what I did was put some glue, as you can see here, under, like on top of the glass, and then I placed the burlap on top, and it worked out really well. But what you need to do is, which I found out after the first panel, is you need to spread this glue. It's called No More Clamp Glue by LePage, and it's just my wood glue. You can use any glue you want, but put a glove on and then spread it over the glass with your glove on. Make sure that there's no sitting clumps or areas of glue, and then make sure that you've trimmed around the edges of the glass, but also make sure that you have enough space at the end, like here, so that it can curl around and fold into when you're going to put it into the panel. Now, the reason why I said spread the glue is because it can clump and pool and come through the burlap, which it did on one of my panels. So here is what I was saying about trimming and making sure you've got enough to hang out, and then you can trim it once it's in the panel on the door. Now, what happened with these panels is I actually glued the wrong side of one of them, because in the panels the glass went in a certain way and it wasn't fitting properly, and I was quite mad at myself. So it was the only one that I did this to, so that was good. So what I did is I used my Windex and just went over with some paper towel just to get the glue off as much as I could, and I also sanded it a little bit. It didn't completely come off, but again, it's going to be in the inside, so I didn't mind, and it was my dresser. So here's what I meant about spreading the glue. I've got my glove on. I was running out of glue because I had used quite a lot. But you're going to pour the glue or squeeze the glue all over the glass panel on the right side. And then making sure that you don't have any clumps. And then spread it with your glove. Making sure that you've spread in all areas. Once it's spread properly, you can then place your burlap over the glass, making sure that you have a little bit extra on all of the edges so that when you go to put in your panel and you secure it in, that you've got enough that will curl around the sides and lap over. Now every cabinet will be different, but for this one, I placed it into the grooves on the door, held it, and then put all of those little screws that I had showed you that were in the panels. I put those on, and then I added the hardware, and I actually used those little handles that were on the plates as the handles for both bottom and top. And this is what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like now. It turned out just so beautiful. There's glass shelves that go in the inside. I also painted in the bottom of the inside, which I didn't show that, but I did paint. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe. And they look amazing in our bedroom.